Hey guys, we are in the trig identities section. Ryan, I hope this is bright enough for you. Okay, so let's go. We gotta get this in terms of sine and cosine. So this will be 1 over sine, and then tangent is sine over cosine. Okay, minus sine over cosine again. Sine, we want to leave it alone. Okay, now I know what some of y'all are thinking right here. Tangent minus tangent is 0. It doesn't work like that. Okay, so you just want to be careful. So the signs cancel out, so I'm left with 1 over cosine x. I can't do anything here on the right, so this would be sine squared x over cosine. So this would be 1 minus sine squared x over cosine. Now, we talked about looking at the big guy, the sine squared plus cosine squared equals 1. This top would equal cosine squared x over cosine. And then we reduce and just get a plain old cosine. Oops. Okay. 20b. Tangent over cotangent. So again, change. Sine over cosine divided by cosine over sine. Keep change, flip. So sine x over cosine x times sine x over cosine x. So I can multiply here, and I get sine squared x over cosine squared x. So if sine over cosine is tangent, then sine squared over cosine squared is tangent squared. Okay. And last from this section is 1 minus sine squared x over sine x cotangent x. Okay, so we just did this problem. So 1 minus sine squared. The thing that's missing is cosine squared. And I'm going to do this. So then it's sine x, go old school on us, and then cotangent is cosine over sine. Okay, before I even keep change flip, notice I have a sine on top and on bottom. We can cancel that. So this becomes cosine squared x divided by cosine. So cosine squared x times 1 over cosine. This cancels with one of these, so your final answer is going to be just plain old cosine. Okay. I think we're going to be good, making sure we have enough space for us to do 21. Okay. So 21, we've got 2 triangles. So we have one in quadrant 3, A, O, H. Now, looking here, they gave us tangent, so O and A. So O gets 20, and this gets 21. So remember that we're in quadrant 3, and this is where you gotta be careful. We need some negatives. Now, I need to go run and get a calculator. I'll be right back. Did you miss me? I'm here. Okay, so we're going to do the Pythagorean theorem. And so I'm just going to do it right here on my own calculator. Squared. And I get 29. Okay, so sine of A is going to be negative 20 over 29, and cosine of A is going to be negative 21 over 29. Okay, now we have another one in quadrant, oopsies, I'm going to draw it over here, in quadrant 2. A, O, H. So they gave us cosine, so 7 and 25. I made a boo-boo. The 7 should go here, and it's negative. Is it? I think it's 24. Yeah. So 24 goes here, using the Pythagorean theorem. Okay, so sine of b is negative 7 over 25, and cosine of b is 24 over 25. So let's look at the question they gave us. So it's cosine of a plus b. So the formula is cosine, sine, sine. So cosine A is negative 21 over 29 times cosine B is 24 over 25 minus sine A, negative 20 over 29, and sine B, negative 7 over 25. Okay, so 21 and 24 is negative 504 over 29 times 25, 725. So we have 3 negatives, right? So it'll be negative 20 times 7 is what? 140 over 725. So take care of that. And I got negative 644 over 725. Ooh, I am so sorry. Didn't realize I was off screen. Okay. Remember, both denominators should always match. Key there. Okay. And then the last one for this part, 22. So we want sine of 465. So 465 is not on the unit circle, so what we got to do is subtract from 360. So 465 minus 360 is 105. So using your unit circle, you're going to figure out what two angles will add and or subtract to give us 105. And if I look, I get 60 and 45. So this will be sine, cosine, sine. Okay, and then we just read the unit circle. So sine of 60, square root 3 over 2, sine of 45, square root 2 over 2. 1/2 for cosine of 60 and square root 2 over 2. To save some paper, I get the square root of 6 plus the square root of 2 all over 4. Okay. The next one is cosine of 105. This is going to be lovely because we just did 105. So cosine of 60 plus 45. So this would be what? Cosine minus sine. So cosine of 60 again, 1/2. Cosine of square root of 45 is square root 2 over 2 minus square root 3 over 2 and square root 2 over 2. And we get square root of 2 minus the square root of 6 all over 4. Okay. Cosine of negative 15. Now, if you don't like dealing with the negatives, we can add 360 to that and get cosine of 345. And that would be what? 300 plus 45? Okay, so cosine minus sine. So cosine of 300 is 1/2. Then the square root of 2 over 2. And negative square root 3 over 2. And the square root 2 over 2. And then this would give us square root 2. Two negatives here will give us a positive square root of 6 over 4. And last but not least, sine of 285. And I believe that would be what, 240 and 45. So sine, cosine, cosine, sine. So sine of 240 is negative square root 3 over 2. Square root 2 over 2 for that one. Negative 1/2 and square root 2 over 2. So my final answer is the square root of 6 plus negative square root of 2 over 4. Or negative square root of 6 minus square root of 2 over 4. I wish you luck, guys.